Okay, good evening, everyone. I'd like to call the Kitty Hawk Town Council meeting to order. If you would, and if you're able to join us, please stand and join a moment of silence, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everybody. We okay, Lynn?
Yes.
Okay. Council, before we get a motion to approve tonight's agenda, we need to make a change, removing item 6G from the consent agenda and adding that under number 7. Items removed from the consent agenda. Do we have a motion to approve tonight's amended agenda?
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Lynn. Second?
Second.
Second, Charlotte. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you, Council. Welcome, Casey.
Thank you. Sorry for being late, guys.
You're fine. Next, we have a presentation, Wall That Heals, Vice Chairman Wally Overman and Veteran Service Officer Patty O'Sullivan for a presentation we've very much been looking forward to.
Thank you all, Mr. Mayor, council members. Thank you for allowing us here today to introduce you to the Wall That Heals. As you will see, this is an exceptional presentation of the Vietnam Veterans Memorial in Washington, D.C. that will be shown at the Soundside event site in November of this year. We wanted to introduce this to you today and wanted you to be familiar with it if you were not already. Hopefully, upon seeing this presentation, the town of Kitty Hawk will choose to support this event wholeheartedly. The Wall That Heals is being brought here through the efforts of the Dare County Veterans Advisory Council. And there's a slide, and it will tell you what the council does. Give you a moment to take a look at that. The council is here, as it states there, to work with the veterans of Dare County in any and all ways possible to help them out. We're going to show you a short video of how the Wall That Heals events works, and after the video, Ms. Patty O'Sullivan, who is our Veteran Services Officer, will talk about the event in a little more detail, and then we will answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you.
I think
Vietnam Veterans Memorial Fund many years ago created a replica of the wall that travels to communities around the country that we call the Wall That Heals. This mobile replica really is about taking the names home to communities large and small to allow people to have that same kind of healing experience, to come and show their respect, to remember those 58,000 whose names are on the wall, as well as the 2.7 million Vietnam veterans who served who returned home. It's a chance to look back and pay their respects to those who answered the call of service to their country, especially those who made the ultimate sacrifice.
To be able to take this around to communities that may not even know anything about the wall or the war, especially for the young kids to come out and see these things and get educated on it. People need to know what these 58,000 plus gave their lives for, whether they want to hear about it or not. They need to know.
The experience at the Wall That Heals is as you go from one end in toward the center, the wall actually rises up above you so that it's taller than you are. which is one of the key design aspects of the wall in Washington. As you go down one of the walkways, the wall actually rises above you. And I think that has a psychological impact where you actually understand that there is something important here. It is so large that it creates an emotion of power, and you understand you're supposed to stop, you're supposed to think about it. And in this case, you can read the names, you can see your reflection in the wall, and you have to remember why those names are inscribed. These are people who sacrificed their lives for our country.
I get this feeling in my stomach, the pride that you see. When we went into San Dimas, the kids were all along the streets with their American flags. That always chokes me up because I know what it is to serve this country. And we as Americans sometimes don't understand the cost of war. Hate the war all you want, but don't hate the warrior.
I met a couple guys here this morning, and one guy, I walked up to him and he started crying already. Man, that makes me feel good. Not that he's crying, but that he's here to have bonding with someone and being able to find his buddy on the wall. It means so much.
Good evening, I'm Patty O'Sullivan. All right. Start all over. Good evening, I'm Patty O'Sullivan. I'm here on behalf of the Dare County Veterans Advisory Council to let you know that out of over 100 applications, Dare County was one of 32 to be selected to host the Wall That Heals in November 2023. The tour extends from California and goes across the country and they end the tour in Nags Head, North Carolina at the Soundside event site. So why it's important to bring the Wall That Heals? We feel it's important to bring the Wall That Heals to Dare County since our county, as well as the surrounding counties, are home to several thousand veterans, including those who served in Vietnam. Many of these veterans are disabled due to their exposure to Agent Orange and may never be able to travel to Washington, D.C. to see the actual wall. Just like the Vietnam Veterans Memorial in Washington, D.C., there are more than 58,000 names on the Wall That Heals. The tractor trailer that carries the Wall That Heals, once it's unloaded, turns into their education center. It features a timeline and artifacts from the Vietnam War. One of the features it offers is the Wall of Heroes, which were local veterans who died during the Vietnam War, as well as the In Memory section, which highlights local veterans who served in Vietnam and passed away after they returned, no matter what the cause. The wall is inclusive to honor all Vietnam veterans. There's also an information education tent that will allow visitors to be able to find names of family members or friends who they may have lost, and it shows them how to create a rubbing of their names. These are the dates the wall will be here. It arrives into Dare County on the 14th of November via an escort. It gets set up on the 15th. And then at 2 o'clock, when it's set up, it's open 24 hours until November 19th at 2 p.m. We'll need several volunteers to help set up and take down the wall, as well as staff the wall while it is here. If anyone is interested, please feel free to email me, and I will forward the sign-in links to them to be able to sign up. Our website was just approved today by the VVMF, the Vietnam Veterans Memorial Fund, so that should be live hopefully by the end of the week. And there'll be information there as well for people to be able to sign up. They also, I have some business cards I can leave if anyone's interested. I can leave them with you. You can hand them out if anybody has any questions. All my contact information's on there. The VVMF will also offer tours to groups interested in taking part in tours such as schools, community groups, any companies, etc. We're doing these presentations and hope to get support from the local towns to make the event happen. Most of the veterans I help are Vietnam veterans, and they remember what it was like when they came home. I remember what it was like when my brother came home from Vietnam. We're hoping to honor these veterans and give them the respect that they deserve. Thank you. If anybody has any questions.
I have a comment. I would like to have one of your cards, please. After
Okay.
your information.
Okay.
I want to participate if I can.
I'm sorry.
I'd like to participate.
Oh, great. Okay.
Thank you. Volunteering is going to be a very big part of this.
I'm looking forward to it.
So we appreciate it. We will be presenting this to all the towns, the Board of Commissioners, as well as the Chamber of Commerce and the Board of Realtors at their general meeting here in just a few weeks. And hope to get all of that completed by the end of April. We'll see how that goes. And there may be some more presentations that come up along the way, but we want to see it. Dare County, as Patty stated, will be the final stop on the tour this year. As she said, it begins in California and works its way all the way across the country via the 18-wheeler. We anticipate having as many as 150 to 200 motorcycles that are going to be part of this escort, as well as a large number of Jeeps, and they will start in Plymouth and come all the way from Plymouth across the old Mans Harbor Bridge through Manteo and on into Nags Head. Terry Gray has worked with the police chiefs in Plymouth, in Manteo, and in Nags Head to have it green lighted all the way through. So it's going to be pretty nice. All of the donations that come in, and we've had several, KDH gave us a nice donation. The Board of Commissioners voted to make a donation to this. And all donations that come in, whether they be personal or whether they be through businesses or towns or however, will help to bring not only the wall that heals to Dare County, but it will also support Dare County veterans through the Veterans Advisory Council in the work that Patty leads through that council. So you don't have to worry about the money being wasted. It'll go to a good cause either way. But again, we appreciate, David, the volunteering. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
Please talk that part of this up. We will have the putting up of the wall should be completed around 2 o'clock or so on the second day after it's here, the 15th. And we will probably schedule the opening ceremony that afternoon. We're trying to plan for that to be a really nice, it's sort of a welcoming to everybody, but it's also a sort of a send-off for the wall that heals. They allow you to have one, they have some pretty strict rules about this, pretty solemn event. And you can have this opening ceremony. It can't be politicized in any way, but we do plan to have some speakers there, and we hope to be able to arrange a 21-gun salute over the slam. So thank you all again very much.
Thank you very much. I think it's safe to say you have the full support of this town council.
I just wanted to let people know that we have a 501c that's actually collecting any donations, so everything is considered tax deductible.
Thank you.
Is that information on the card too, or?
My information's on the card. That information is going to be on the website, but if you
Okay.
like that information, I can forward.
I just go to the website. I just want to make sure I can get to it.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you both.
Thank you all. We appreciate you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for
your time.
coming.
Thank you.
Good night.
Very good presentation. Lynn, do we have anyone sign up for public comment?
No, sir.
Is there anyone here tonight would like to speak at public comment? Let the record show no one chose to speak. Consent agenda, removing item 6G. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Motion to approve the consent agenda?
Second?
Second.
All right, thank you, Jeff. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, items removed from the consent agenda. Number 7 is dealing with Deals Architects for the new police station, and I think we've got some questions from council that would like maybe to try to get answered tonight or at some point. Melody, I'm going to ask you first to maybe start us off. Describe the process, how Deals was selected for council and for the public that may be here or watching. And in the description here, it talks about their scope of their responsibilities. Can you tell us the conversations you've had with Deals already, talking about their duties and responsibilities? And in your opinion, do we need someone in this role?
So, first off, yes, I do believe that we need, if we're going to move forward with this project as we've been planning to, we need, the next step is construction documents and the plans. We've got a floor plan schematic. So we need someone to help us develop those construction documents, oversee the civil engineering piece of this, and help us prepare for awarding a construction contract to a contractor. So that is the proposal, as far as I can see, that has been submitted. I did, and Councilman Hines requested a detailed, which I thought was a great idea. It had a total for how much it was going to cost, but you know, we should know what each item and each service is going to cost. So I do believe you have an updated copy that in the last couple of pages has the cost for each type of service written out. So the process to award the request for qualification to Deals was we put out an RFQ. This process is based on qualifications, not money. It is, because it's a design process, you have some leeway into picking who you think the best fit overall for the project would be. We put out the RFQ. We had 3 companies submit to us their proposals. They kind of look like this. There was criteria that they had to submit. They had to keep it under 20 pages. They had to outline the team. There was a whole list of things that they needed to meet. And there was a deadline for submittal. And then once we received them all, I formed an employee committee. It was myself, Rob Testerman, David Lewis, Willie Midget, Jimmy Helms, and Jeff Gard, who are from the police department. We had a rating sheet that matched the qualification list of the things we were looking for, and everybody independently rated each proposal. Then we had a meeting together, and based on the ratings and the discussion and so forth, it was determined that Deals Architects was the winning, or the most qualified for this service, I should say. And so the next step was to seek a proposal from them outlining the services they were going to provide and so forth. And they did put it is not a contract, it is a proposal, and they did put a price on there, and it was a total price. And I definitely now see the need to have the cost broken down and know what each item is going to cost.
Sure.
So I believe that answers your questions.
And council, just to let you know, I met with Melody, as I do every Monday morning. I met with her, and before I could ask her the question, she told me that Deals had already reached out and had offered to come to a future council meeting to address this matter in person, in case we did have any questions that maybe they could answer for us. So that option is there if we wish to pursue that.
Yes.
Thank you, Melody. David, I can see your wheels spinning now.
Oh, they're spinning. So general rule of these design contracts is generally 6% of what you project to be job cost. Okay? Our budget is 1.5, is that correct? Or 1.7 that we originally set out?
This year, 2.5 million was put into the
Okay.
budget.
Even at 2.5, $472,513.00 using the general rule of the design services is not 6%.
Correct.
So, you know, looking over this proposal and having it here at my seat when I just sat down, I appreciate that.
And I just got it, and I asked for them today, so.
I appreciate you, I understand, but $163,928 for design documents? I mean, being into business, it's hard for me to absorb this.
Understand.
And, you know, when I look at that building, you know, and I'm only going to speak for me, I can't speak for the board, but when we go through that building during the contract phases, when we put it under contract, then of course through the inspection phases, you know, everything we've done, well, we already have a good understanding of what needs to be done. Why do we spend that much money for a roof plan and drawings? I mean, I thought what am I missing? I thought we're moving a few walls and doing a few different things, but you get a structural engineer involved, then you hire a general contractor to facilitate all. We know it needs a roof, we know we need siding, we know we need windows, we know we need flooring, we know we need paint. I just feel like unless they can tell me something else they're providing to this town's taxpayers' money for this project, in person sitting here, I think it's really high.
Okay. At our budget workshop, we're going to talk about guidance for the budget of this project.
Because you need guidance.
I need
She told me that
guidance.
this morning. And we also mentioned, I don't mean to, we also mentioned if they were to appear in person, it made me think that we could pick out, hey, can we do without this? You know what I'm saying, to cut the cost. We can't, it's best to have them here to answer that question. I am certainly not an architect, and I wouldn't know where to start, so I don't think there's.
Well, and just so I'm being clear, I'm not saying that they're not a company that's capable of doing what they're trying to do, by no means. I'm just looking at our budget in the town of Kitty Hawk and what we purchased the building for, and being in the business and have done these projects personally, not a police department, but the same commercial criteria of A to Z. You know, I'm going to stick to our budget, and it's going to be hard to do that with this. We have a building inspector here. I mean, there's other, Willie, I mean, I want to hear more before I can get on board with that.
Yeah, I understand that.
I know I can't do the work, but.
This is approximately 8,000 square feet of renovated space.
I understand.
And 4,000 square feet of new space based on the design schematic.
Right.
We have already said that we are going to pare that down. And how to do that structurally and what to do, we need guidance on. And yes, David Lewis is very experienced, Willie is experienced. I would contend that both of those people have full-time jobs, and they may not be the most qualified to provide those services.
Okay, well, I would contend that he's the chief building inspector for Kitty Hawk, and he's going to be inspecting every phase of this building.
Yes, he will.
So I respectfully disagree with that side.
But he is not an architect. and
I understand
don't think
that.
we've got
I
anybody
understand.
in-house that can handle this situation.
I understand that. That's not what I'm getting at. I'm just saying there's got to be a way. I want to see more on this.
And like, so, for clarity, so when we hire a contractor, what does the contractor need to do the job and to bid on the job?
A set of drawings, sealed by a structural engineer, and building permits. And then
Okay.
fire suppression plans or whatever the design shows.
Okay,
Okay? So whether you have changes in electrical, you have to have all those trades that are licensed to do the commercial project come down to our planning department and pull a permit once all those plans are created and the engineers have signed off on them. I can contend that I know that it can be done for lesser than what they're charging, even
Okay.
hiring those people to do so.
okay.
Which we can put more money into the building if we can
Sure.
scale some of this back to make it a better building for the police department.
And how do we do a separate, another RFQ to find these people?
You can do like Nags Hedges did I think they did a hard contract proposal where they bypassed this. And there are other ways to get to the, and I don't know exactly how Nags Head did it because I didn't have time to call one of the commissioners before I got here. But I do know they just did it.
Yeah, they used Oakley Collier, which does a lot of Dare County's plans. And I did reach out to Dare County, and I think I provided you that information, who in turn reached out to Oakley Collier. Their estimate to do this type of work for us was over $500,000.
I understand. But Nags Head, I'm talking about Nags Head, not Dare County, just did something different.
Okay, they issued bonds to pay and,
But until this group can talk to us, I guess, in person, I think I'm spinning my wheels here with my concerns because I think I've kind of broadly just laid them out.
I understand, and I'm willing to do whatever this council wants us to do and gives guidance for.
But I'm curious to hear how the rest of my board feels too. That's just how I feel. So thank you for letting me speak.
Sure, Dave. Sure. Lynn?
How many of us have ever really built a commercial building? I know I'm looking at all this and saying, well, we need that, but do we need something that expensive? And just looking at these details, without being able to digest them, I start seeing redundancies and different things that we may not need. So I'm not willing to say, this is right on the money, let's start tomorrow. What I'm saying is, this is a lot of money, but then this is a lot that they've listed. And the first thing that jumped out is HVAC system type will be determined during 35% design phase. Thought we had HVAC. I thought that was all buttoned up. Why are we revisiting that?
And they may not know that information.
And that I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt. But just to say, yeah, let's go forward, at this point, I have some reservations. We do need some architectural services. We do need
Agreed.
someone to create the plans.
Agreed.
I don't know that we have an architect on staff or anybody with an architectural background. We need a firm that has the software we need to farm this out to someone. It's not going to be done in-house totally. But there's an awful lot here that I really don't see us needing. But there's a lot here that we can't do without. And basically, I'm unprepared right now. I have no evaluation, no basis for anything to say, let's go for it, or let's continue to look at it. But, you know, 470, is it the number on the original, $472,513? That's a lot of car payments. I mean, for our fleet, for somebody, but that's a very high amount to me. I just think we need to look at it further.
Okay. Thank you, Lynn. Thank you, Jeff.
Well, I think maybe there is some confusion in here. And maybe it would be best just to wait and ask this to this company. You know, like there's architectural designs and structural designs and that, you know, we're remodeling, not building. You know, remodeling is totally different from starting from scratch. It just seems like to me, I mean, picking out doors and just everything that they talk about here, plumbing and mechanical, and I mean, the place is pretty much plumbed and it's pretty much mechanical. The wiring's already done, the electrical's already done. Now there's going to be some new, but the majority of the existing part is already complete. It's not like we're going to tear it out and start all over. So this seems an awful lot. You know, I was hoping that some of the stuff could be internally and we could, you know, start moving on however the process of things that we know right away that could be done, as far as like, you know, putting out bids to fix the roof that's going to stop deterioration on the building. But $460,000 is an extremely large amount of money. We kind of went in with a project like this on the EMS station and it snowballed. And we ended up with a $14 million building that we couldn't afford, and we ended up losing money, if I'm not correct, on hiring one of these companies after we found out that we couldn't afford what we're going to pay somebody $470, and then they're going to, I guess, their architectural services, the document and design, if all of a sudden we decide that we don't like their design or the documents, then we're going to be out $163,928 just to stop this process. Is that right, Casey?
That'd be right.
That would be
You're
right.
right. We went through it.
And we've been through this once before, and I don't want to haste into this again. $163,000 is a lot to lose if we find out we can't afford to do what this company wants. So I would like for them to come in and explain to us why certain services are so expensive, and maybe they could give, once again, I too am not an architect, but I do dabble in construction. And so it does seem high to me, and so I would like to maybe schedule a meeting, I think, with them, and maybe they can explain to us exactly why the prices that they've set so high before we commit to something like this, and then pretty much automatically we're into them for $163,000 as soon as we say we're in. So I want.
Pro Tem, when you say schedule a meeting, invite them to come to an open meeting.
Yes.
You say, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And maybe then we could ask them about each service that they've outlined here, you know, and David could, and we would be more prepared to go in, and that way he could explain to us why 300 design service, why it's 351, you know, when we're talking about 4,000 square feet of adding on existing building. That sounds like a lot, but maybe they can explain it to me since that's not my profession. So that's all I have.
Thank you, Jeff. Charlotte?
This project is way different than I had envisioned when we purchased the building, and I thought we were going to make do with a lot of things that were already there, and just get our police department in a building that was not going to flood, and that I'm just floored at these prices, and I don't know that I can go along with that. I think we're getting really close to what we couldn't afford to begin with, and we had to back out of that. So I need more information, just like we all do.
And
This is way more than we can absorb in this link.
Oh, for sure.
Tonight.
And like I said, it is a proposal, and it can be, and if they're not the ones, we can go in a different direction, or we can tweak this how we want it to be. As Craig said, and I said, you know, we need to set a budget realistically to accomplish what we need, what we think we absolutely need. They are working off the design schematic that was provided that had all of the department's wishes and all of that kind of stuff in it. Are there things that can be reduced? Absolutely. So we will, I think, once we know what we can afford or want to afford and what direction we want to go with this, then I think we will find the right people to do it.
I have a follow-up question, if I may. You're saying it's just a proposal, right? But this consent agenda of approval would have given you guys the authority to enter into an actual contract.
I guess so, yes.
That's why it was taken off the consent agenda.
Yeah.
How did it get on the consent agenda?
Well, I'm saying originally when it was on there before we were discussing it,
It
it
should
would.
not have been on the consent agenda.
Correct.
Good.
That's where I was going with it.
It should not have been there.
Well, Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion then that we defer this until a time that we can meet with the, what's the, I'm sorry.
Deals.
Deal, and AE Design Services and see if they can chisel this down some.
I'll second that.
Second by David.
Third.
Any more discussion? Okay, all in favor? You got something, Melody?
I would say, I mean, I wonder if we decide that Dills isn't the right company before we even get to that point, maybe, like you said, a structural engineer.
I think it's worth the taxpayer, everybody's best interest, including this board, to have them explain to all of us.
Okay.
Because right now I have a lot more questions, and I'm trying to shoot from the hip right as I get here. And I know it's kind of giving you a quick overrun of how it's done. Sure, it's not as easy as I just threw it out there a second ago, but it is not rocket science.
Okay. Well, I just didn't want to make the motion commit to Dills if we were going to explore other options.
I'm committed to listening to them speak.
Okay.
All right, we've got a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Okay. Motion is passed. Melody, can you reach out
Oh,
to
absolutely.
them and see if possibly the next meeting, we don't need to waste any more time than we have to. And I'll just say, we promised our police officers a building they can be proud of and a building that the town can be proud of, and I don't think there's anybody sitting up here that thinks different from that. We also said we were not going to go the cheap way.
Correct.
We were going to do it right, so we wouldn't have to go back and do it a second time, which is what you referred to earlier.
That's correct.
So let's get some answers, and we can discuss it some more. It's on the agenda for our retreat to talk about some more, but you need some guidance, and I understand that. Any more discussion?
No, I mean, I'll save mine for that time, I suppose. I have more questions, but I'll just wait. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Thank you, David. All right, so we have no new business. Comments from the town manager?
I have a couple things tonight. First of all, the police department skate event is coming up this Saturday, March the 11th, from 12 to 2. It's an event for 8 to 13-year-olds, and it will be held at Kitty Hawk Park on West Kitty Hawk Road. There's going to be food, drinks, giveaways, prizes, skateboarding instruction. Pre-registration is recommended, so if anybody wants more information, they can contact the police department. The number is 261-3895. Also, April 17th has been set as the spring chipping date. Please have limbs and branches out for removal as early as the week before the 17th. And you can visit the town's website for more information about branch size and that kind of thing. Also, you, in your consent agenda, you approved the budget because we're a member of the government access television group through Dare County.
Current TV now.
Current TV,
Yeah.
yes. One of the services that we get from them is a bi-monthly video of any topic that we choose that goes with government called Destination Dare. So I'm going to start showing you those. The next one's going to be about the trails in Kitty Hawk. The last one that just got completed is about ocean rescue.
You may not know us, but we're Kitty Hawk Fire Rescue. My name is Chris Davis. I'm a lieutenant for Kitty Hawk Fire Rescue. We do it all. We put out fires. We're there when there's a car accident. Our inspections keep you safe. Our equipment is state-of-the-art, and we are professional and motivated. So motivated that we have our own training center hand-built by our fire department members. Everything we do well, really well. We even do ocean rescue. The Outer Banks has some of the best ocean rescue teams anywhere, and we're planning on being the best of the best. But no matter how good we are, we can't do our job without your help. When summer comes to the Outer Banks, we need all the good people we can get. The Outer Banks is one of the most beautiful places on earth. We're offering qualified people the chance to experience life on a sandbar and get paid for it. We offer outstanding training and support. We pay a competitive wage, and we're expanding our ocean rescue capabilities into the off-season. There may be opportunities for people we train to become part of Kitty Hawk Fire Rescue. The people we're looking for are hardworking and responsible, with good people skills and a strong work ethic. Of course, you'll have to be a strong swimmer as well. Let us know if you're interested. Contact us at the station. Our number is 252-261-2666. If you want to be the best, come work for the best.
Anyway, I could not be more proud of their efforts. This is all, I mean, they do it all. Their enthusiasm and their professionalism just makes me so inspired, and I'm glad to share that with you. That's all I have.
Thank you, Millie. Chief Tanner, would you please send our thanks and appreciation to your staff for that video? It was wonderful.
Yep, will do. Thank you.
Appreciate what you all do. Thank you. Casey.
I've got nothing, Mayor. Simple enough.
You.
Sorry for being late. My wife had a simple surgery procedure, but she checking in on her. Checking in on her pretty. Thank you.
David?
Oh, man. I can't beat that, but
Say nothing.
I did have one thing, though, so I can't.
Don't say yourself short. Come on.
Some time ago, we worked on this somewhat good debate on this ADU and front versus the back, and that whole episode. But at the time that Rob had two proposals up there, there was one with a driveway and one without, and Jeff even keeps telling me that I need to probably get that back brought up because neighbors are complaining, and I'm getting calls about having front-facing. I guess Tateway would be a good example, where there's like a house but there's grass with no driveway. So Rob, is that correct? If you cannot have, what is it, the rule, I'm sorry?
An detached accessory dwelling unit cannot have a separate driveway.
Right.
Primary.
So, I think we probably should look at that again. I don't know what we do to do that, but that way people will stop calling it up and complaining. about how we got it half right. So that's all.
Rob, can you maybe come up with something to present to council?
Yeah, it would have to go back to the planning board.
Yep.
But I can get that in front of them and back to council.
Okay.
Thank you. That's it for me.
Thank you, Rob. Thank you, David. Lynn?
I have nothing.
Welcome back tonight. too.
Thank you. I'm still freezing from the shock of the cold. Not thinking very well, but I am glad to be back. And meteorological winter might be over, but the groundhog, I think, is governing our weather right now, and we should stop listening to him. But I'm anxious for spring.
Good. Thank you, Lynn. Jeff?
Well, we were presented with a great presentation, Bring the Wall, and I just want to throw it out. I don't know how the rest of the council feels, but I would like to support them in some way with the town of Kitty Hawk, some support, and I'm not sure what the value would be, but if there's some way, maybe if you all agree that maybe we could help, and this is a great thing, and I believe this is something that the town should help and be a part of. And also, Chief Talley, great video, and I appreciate everything everybody's doing. Rob, thank you for sticking in there on the vendors, and Willie, great to be back, I tell you. Good to see you in that white truck. Looks like the guy did a good job on you. That's all I have.
Thank you, Jeff. And I agree, if council is in agreement, Jeff's, if we can do something
Definitely.
towards that, that would be wonderful. Thank you, Melody.
Probably a good time too with the budget coming up, right?
Thank you, Melody. Charlotte?
We met this afternoon, Jeff and myself and Melody, and we met with Eric with the Park Service, and we are making progress and moving forward and getting the Birch Lane Trail improved and going to phase 2 on the Sandy Run connector. So anyway, we're moving forward with that, and I think we have their support with that. So
Thank you, Charlotte.
I think that's
report.
good.
Thank you. Thank you both for doing that, too. Willie, again, welcome back. I could have hugged you when I saw you tonight. You were walking better than I can walk. So, welcome back. And going back to the police station, I think we all want to do the right thing. So I'm looking forward maybe to getting some answers at the next meeting so we can proceed. I don't like riding by, see nothing happening, so I'm ready to get going on this project. Anything else, council? If not, I will make a motion. We're going to recess to March 16th and 17th, 2023 for our budget workshops beginning at 9 a.m. Do we have a second to that?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you, council.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Glenn.